On August 12, 2025, the world will cross a threshold not just in time, but in destiny. It will not be just another date on the calendar. It will be a spiritual fault line, a prophetic turning point. The winds will shift, the unseen will stir, for what has been brewing in silence will roar into the open. The ground beneath systems, powers, and people will tremble. It will be a day when God interrupts the plans of men, when secrets are ripped from the shadows, and when those who thought they ruled the story will find the author taking back his pen. Everything will change not by chance, not by man, but by the hand of the one who governs eternity. The day of unveiling, what was hidden shall be revealed on August 12, 2025. There are moments in history when time no longer moves as usual, when the unseen hand of God reaches into the affairs of men, and what was buried beneath layers of deception is violently torn into the open. August 12, 2025 is such a day. It will not announce itself with parades or speeches, but with shaking, with sudden shifts, with the cracking of facades that have long masked the truth. It is the day of unveiling, when the covers come off, and reality, no matter how uncomfortable, demands to be seen. On this appointed day, what was whispered in dark rooms will echo across nations. Things long hidden in governments, in churches, in corporations, in families will surface. The lies that bought influence will no longer buy silence. The platforms built on illusion will begin to sink, and the names that carried weight in the world will be weighed in the balance. This unveiling will not be confined to politics or media. It will invade every domain. In the halls of power, papers once sealed will mysteriously leak. Words spoken behind closed doors will become headlines. Hidden alliances will be exposed not by man's doing, but by divine timing. Those who have manipulated systems behind the curtain will find the curtain burning down. The hand of God will reach into the machinery of deception and jam it. Cameras will capture what was never meant to be seen. Microphones will pick up what was meant to stay buried, and those who once laughed at accountability will tremble under the weight of exposure. But it will not only be the wicked who are revealed. The righteous too, the hidden ones, the nameless ones who stood in the gap, prayed in silence, and endured in shadows will begin to emerge. For as darkness is unveiled, so is light. Those mocked for their discernment will be vindicated. Those silenced for speaking truth will be remembered. And those who refused to compromise in a world addicted to gray will shine like flames in the midst of smoke. God is not only pulling down, he is also lifting up. The unveiling is a double-edged sword. It exposes evil and exalts righteousness. It brings judgment and justice at once. In the spiritual realm, this day marks a piercing, a ripping of the veil between the seen and unseen. There will be dreams that interrupt the night with divine clarity. Prophecies once dismissed will resurface, fulfilled in terrifying precision. People will begin to see beyond the surface. Discernment will intensify. No longer will things be accepted at face value. Eyes will open, hearts will burn, and a generation raised on comfort will begin to crave truth even when it costs them. Churches that preached convenience will crumble. Pulpits that compromised will be emptied, for the unveiling will begin in the house of God. Judgment always starts at the altar. On August 12, 2025, don't look for fireworks, look for fractures. In conversations, in media, in governments, in alliances, watch for sudden unravelings. A well-known name will fall. A powerful voice will be silenced. A trusted institution will be caught in scandal, and many will be left asking, how did we not see this coming? But the truth is, the signs were always there. Only now the veil is being pulled back, not gradually, violently. This day will be a divine interruption, a collision between man's timeline and God's decree. It will shake those who thought themselves untouchable and awaken those who were asleep. This unveiling is also deeply personal. For many, secrets long kept in the chambers of their hearts will no longer remain hidden. God is not only unveiling systems, he is unveiling people. Motives will be exposed. Bitterness buried for years will rise to the surface. Hidden sin will come into the light, not for condemnation, but for confrontation. Relationships built on lies will collapse, but it will be mercy, not cruelty. Because what God reveals, he desires to heal. This will be a painful day for many, but pain that births freedom. For what is not unveiled cannot be redeemed. The light must touch it before the blood can cleanse it. To the proud, August 12 will be a day of terror. To the humble, it will be a day of mercy. For those who have lived to maintain appearances, it will be unbearable. But to those who have longed for purity, who have prayed in hidden places for truth to come forth, it will be the sound of chains breaking. The unveiling is not for punishment alone, it is for realignment. It is the grace of God saying, I will not allow you to live another year under illusion. In this unveiling, truth will no longer be optional. You will either align with it or be crushed by it. Everything will change not just outwardly, but inwardly. The spirit of deception that has swept across this generation will suffer a wound. False prophets will fall. Influencers who led many astray will begin to lose their grip. A hunger for truth will rise like a tide, sudden, uncontrollable, undeniable. Those who have ears to hear will begin to separate from the noise. They will withdraw from the crowds and chase the still small voice again. The unveiling will reawaken the prophetic. The watchman will return to the wall. The sleepers will be jolted, and the lukewarm will be forced to choose fire or nothing. Do not underestimate this day. Do not treat it as symbolic. It is a divine marker in the heavens, a spiritual eruption on earth. Prepare your heart, for the things you depended on may crumble. Prepare your spirit, for the voices you trusted may be exposed. Prepare your soul, for what you thought you knew may turn out to be false. But in that disillusionment, clarity will come. This unveiling is not just destruction, it is deliverance. God is not tearing things down to leave us empty. He is clearing space to build what is true, pure, and eternal. On August 12, 2025, everything hidden will not stay hidden. Everything disguised will be undressed. Everything whispered will be shouted, and everything false will begin to rot under the weight of its own lie. It is the day of unveiling, and once the veil is lifted, nothing will ever look the same again. The shaking of thrones and powers, when the high will be brought low on August 12, 2025, there are moments when history is not made by men, but unmade by the hand of God. August 12, 2025 is not simply a date, it is a divine demolition, a holy tremor that will shake thrones and bring false powers to their knees. For too long, those seated on high places have mistaken their position for permanence. They've cloaked corruption with prestige, exchanged truth for influence, and crowned themselves with pride. But the hour is coming, and it will not delay, when the shaking will begin. Thrones built on compromise will collapse. Powers built on deception will scatter like dust. This shaking is not random, it is a reckoning. What man has exalted, God will humble, and what has ruled unjustly will be ruled no more. August 12 will be a divine announcement. Enough is enough. The pillars of global systems will tremble. The world's power structures, financial, political, religious, will begin to quake. Not with fanfare, but with fracture. The idols of this age will fall not by human hands, but by divine breath. God is not impressed by empires. He is not moved by popularity. He does not flinch at the size of armies or the wealth of nations. When he speaks, kings bow and kingdoms break. And on this appointed day, he will speak not gently, but thunderously. Those who have sat on thrones of greed, who manipulated the masses, who crushed truth for profit, their season is ending. This shaking is not just the fall of people, it is the exposure of entire systems. The political thrones that operated in the shadows, bribing their way into power, will see their strategies fail. The economic giants that hoarded wealth while the poor cried out will watch their towers sway. The religious empires that turned the gospel into a business, that traded holiness for relevance, will feel the fire under their altars. The throne is a dangerous place when it's not built on righteousness. For the Lord watches, and when the cup of injustice is full, he tips it. And when he does, there is no nation, no name, no institution that can stand. Those who thought they ruled the narrative will find the narrative rewritten. Media giants that shaped public perception with lies will stumble. Courts that delivered injustice under the name of law will be overturned. Leaders who bathed in the praise of men will be left exposed, their robes of power torn. For when God shakes, he does not shake lightly. He shakes so that only what is unshakable remains. Thrones that once looked unmovable will become ruins. The world will watch in confusion, but those with spiritual eyes will know. This is not chaos, this is cleansing. Do not think this shaking will be comfortable. It will offend, it will disrupt, it will destabilize, but it is necessary, for the world has bowed too long to false kings. It has worshipped influence, charisma, control, and called it leadership. But now the true king is rising in judgment. He is toppling idols. He is unmasking principalities. And he is reminding the earth that no throne lasts forever unless it is built on his name. On August 12, a sword will fall, not a sword of man, but of heaven. It will cut through deception. It will divide the holy from the profane, and it will shake the halls of power from Washington to Babylon. This is not merely a political event. It is spiritual warfare manifesting in real time. The shaking of thrones is the tearing down of demonic strongholds. For behind every corrupt power there is a principality. Behind every throne of wickedness there is a spiritual force. And now those powers are being judged. Angels will be dispatched to strike what human hands cannot touch. The fear of the Lord will return not as a phrase in a sermon, but as a reality in the hearts of nations. Even the arrogant will tremble. Even the wicked will sense it. Something has shifted. Something has been unleashed, and yet, even in the shaking, there will be purpose, for God does not tear down without building. As he topples thrones of darkness, he raises up voices of righteousness. The shaking will make room for the rising. A new breed of leaders, humble, bold, consecrated, will begin to emerge. They will not campaign for power. They will carry fire. They will not serve agendas. They will serve truth. They will walk in the fear of the Lord, not in fear of man. These will be the Daniels, the Deborahs, the Josephs, the Esthers rising not by ambition, but by assignment. The shaking is making room for the remnant to reign. Some thrones will fall publicly, others will fall quietly, internally the beginning of a slow decay, but all will feel the tremble. Those who have ears to hear will sense the earth groaning, the systems cracking, the atmosphere shifting. It will not be business as usual. The illusion of stability will be broken. The economy may quiver, the markets may react, the leaders may try to reassure the masses, but the truth will be undeniable. Power is changing hands. The King of Kings is drawing near, and every counterfeit crown is in danger. To the righteous, this shaking is not a curse, but a call. It is time to rise, time to speak, time to build what is pure, for as false thrones fall, true authority must rise. No more hiding, no more waiting for permission. The vacuum left by fallen powers must be filled with holy leadership. The voices of truth must thunder louder than the voices of propaganda. The light must shine brighter than the flicker of fading empires. This is our moment not to spectate, but to step in, and yet let this serve as a warning. For those still building their towers on compromise, your time is short. The winds are rising, the shaking is near. What you built in pride will collapse in a day. What you propped up with lies will fall by truth. This is the hour to repent, to return, to surrender. For the Lord is not only shaking thrones out, there he is shaking the throne of your heart. Who rules you? Who owns you? Who do you serve when no one is watching? These are the questions that will define your destiny in this season. On August 12, 2025, the world will watch the beginning of a global realignment. It will look like chaos, but it is order being restored. Thrones that stood for decades will be dismantled. Powers that seemed invincible will break like glass, and a new wind will blow, the wind of justice, of purity, of holy fire. Everything that can be shaken will be shaken. Only the kingdom of God will remain. Only truth will stand. Only righteousness will reign. The shaking is not coming, it has already begun. And on this day, the tremor becomes a quake. Let the proud be warned, let the humble prepare, for the shaking of thrones is not the end, it is the beginning. A new age is birthing, not by the will of man, but by the decree of heaven. August 12, 2025, the day the high were brought low, and the true king reclaimed his crown. The reversal of alignments. When everything flips on August 12, 2025, there are days when the chessboard of the world is suddenly flipped by an unseen hand, when alliances once considered unbreakable begin to splinter, and relationships built on strategy instead of truth collapse under divine. Wait, August 12, 2025 is that day. The world will awaken to a massive realignment, not just of political powers or nations, but of hearts, destinies, and divine callings. That which was joined will be severed. That which was divided will be restored. Lines drawn by man will be redrawn by God. It will be a season of divine rearrangement, a holy reversal that will not ask for permission. Friend will become foe. Foe will become friend, and the hidden motives behind alignments will come to light in painful clarity. This will not be a subtle shift, it will be abrupt, jarring, and disorienting. Nations that once stood united will find themselves in silent war. Leaders who once shook hands will turn their backs. Institutions that relied on compromise will find that middle ground has vanished. The global order will begin to look unrecognizable. But this is not chaos, this is the finger of God breaking man, made alignments and forging divine ones. For too long, connections were forged in smoke, filled rooms instead of in the fear of the Lord. Alliances were based on profit instead of purpose. But when God moves to reverse alignments, he doesn't negotiate. He acts, and all who have built on the wrong foundation will be forced to reckon with the fallout. In this reversal, even personal relationships will undergo divine disruption. Some of the people who walked with you in the last season will not walk with you in the next. Not everyone can cross into the new. August 12 will mark a tearing not because of hate, but because of calling. The Lord is dividing the fake from the faithful, the attached from the assigned. There will be sudden breakups, unexpected betrayals, abrupt exits, and it will hurt. But the pain will be purposeful, for the Lord is not just removing people, he is realigning destinies. Some separations will be the very thing that frees you to walk fully in your anointing, and some connections will be restored not by effort, but by divine timing. What was stolen will return. What was broken by lies will be healed by truth. In governments, diplomatic alliances that shaped global narratives will start to unravel. Secret deals will be exposed. Nations that once walked in step will begin to drift. But behind the headlines, there is a greater narrative, one not shaped in boardrooms, but in the courts of heaven. This reversal will expose who truly serves truth and who serves power. God is breaking agreements made in the spirit of control. He is dissolving pacts built on injustice. and he is creating new alignments, sovereign, strategic, and sacred, that will shape the course of generations to come. Churches and ministries will not be exempt. Many spiritual leaders have aligned themselves with popularity instead of presence. They've partnered with influence, not integrity, but on August 12, the reversal will come for them too. Platforms will shrink overnight. Partnerships will fall apart. Movements built on branding instead of brokenness will be scattered. But in the midst of the unraveling, new alliances will be born. Prophets will find apostles. Intercessors will find warriors. The hidden ones will find each other not by accident, but by the Spirit. This is the hour when God brings together his remnant, not just for survival, but for war. Expect the unexpected. People you once opposed will now walk beside you. Nations once hostile to righteousness will suddenly open their doors. Unlikely voices will rise from unexpected places, and those once rejected will be embraced. For when God reverses alignments, he also reverses reputations. Those who were smeared will be honored. Those who were exalted will be exposed. The first will become last. The last will become first. This is not just a spiritual cliche. It is a prophetic reality being fulfilled in our time. This reversal will also confront hidden loyalties. Many have pledged allegiance to systems, names, and ideologies that no longer reflect the will of God. August 12 will be a line in the sand. The Lord will force a choice to cling to what is familiar or to follow what is true. Loyalty to man, to tribe, to denomination, to empire, it will all be tested. And those who refuse to shift with the Spirit will find themselves stuck in places God has already departed from. Obedience will cost more. But disobedience will cost everything. On the personal level, this realignment will expose your hidden motives. Why do you walk with who you walk with? Why are you tied to certain people, certain titles, certain roles? The Lord is purging hearts of false allegiances. He is severing ties to idols you didn't know you had. For many, the reversal will look like loss, the end of relationships, positions, even dreams, but it is not destruction. It is deliverance. God is not punishing you. He is positioning you. Let go or be dragged. Say yes or miss the shift. This divine reversal is not something you can plan, for it must be discerned. You cannot logic your way through it. You cannot hold it back by emotion. It is holy, it is sovereign, and it is already in motion. Some doors will close so suddenly you will feel the wind as they slam. Some people will leave so unexpectedly you'll be tempted to chase them. But don't let them go, for what God is doing in this reversal is preparing you for the next assignment, one you cannot fulfill with the baggage of old alignments. August 12, 2025 will be remembered as a prophetic pivot, a time when the alignments of man were overturned and the alignments of heaven were established. It will not look like revival, but it is the preparation for one. It will not feel like a blessing, but it is the beginning of breakthrough. This reversal is the Lord pruning his body, purging his bride, and purifying his leaders. He is making room for something pure, something powerful, something prophetic to rise. Let the wise discern, let the humble submit, and let the proud be warned. Everything that is not rooted in truth will be flipped. Every relationship, every alliance, every agreement that was not birthed in God's presence will not survive this shaking. For the days of convenience are over, the days of divine alignment have begun, and on this day, August 12, the great reversal begins. The calling of the remnant, when the hidden rise on August 12, 2025, there is a moment in every generation when God stops calling the crowd and starts calling the remnant. A moment when the noise of culture fades, the idols of religion fall, and only the voice of the Lord remains. August 12, 2025 will be that moment. It will not be a call heard by everyone. It will be heard by the few, the set apart, the misunderstood, the rejected. This is not a general invitation. It is a divine summons. A holy awakening. A trumpet blast from the throne room echoing into the spirit of those who were never meant to blend in, but were always destined to stand out. The remnant, the ones hidden in caves, silenced in systems, and refined in fire, will be called out, called up, and called forward. On this day, God will not call the most qualified, the most popular, or the most applauded. He will call the consecrated. The remnant is not defined by numbers, but by fire. They are the ones who chose holiness when compromise was easier, who walked alone when crowds mocked their conviction. They are not perfect, but they are surrendered. They don't seek platforms, they seek presence. They have been through pain, betrayal, loss, isolation, but it was not without purpose. It was training. Their wilderness was not punishment, it was preparation, and now the time has come for them to rise. August 12 will be a line drawn in the spirit. It will be a shift from being hidden to being heralded. From obscurity to assignment, from silence to speech. Many who have been overlooked by man will now be backed by heaven. They will not rise with fame but with fire. They will not come to entertain but to confront. The remnant will walk in a different spirit, unshaken, unbought, and unbending. They will speak when others remain silent. They will cry out when others stay comfortable, and their presence will shake rooms, not because of charisma, but because of consecration. This calling is not casual, it is costly. To be part of the remnant is to be ruined for the ordinary. It is to burn while others settle. It is to stand when others bow. The remnant has no interest in popularity. They are burdened, not branded, anointed, not announced. They do not crave the stage, they weep in secret. They don't chase trends, they chase truth. And this is who God is calling in this hour, not the loudest, but the lowest. Not the ones with perfect theology, but the ones with pure hearts. The Lord is not looking for professionals, He is looking for vessels. Many will miss the call because they're listening for applause instead of instruction. They're watching for opportunity instead of watching in prayer. But the remnant they will hear, they always do, for they've trained their ears in the wilderness. They've learned to recognize His whisper through pain, through loss, through fire. And when He calls, they move quickly, obediently, radically. August 12 will be such a moment when the hidden ones begin to move. Watch for it. Names you've never heard will rise. Voices without followers will thunder. Messages not branded with marketing will pierce hearts and shift atmospheres. The remnant doesn't need permission to obey. They only need the word. This rising is not about rebellion, it's about realignment. The remnant is not coming to fight the church. They are the church. But they are the church that won't compromise. They are the ones who will not sell their oil. They are the 5 wise virgins, trimmed and ready, burning while others sleep. They carry the old fire, the fire that makes demons flee, idols fall, and hearts return to the altar. And they are not coming to play it safe. They are coming to declare war on lukewarmness, passivity, and the watered-down gospel that has grieved the Spirit for far too long. August 12 will begin a mass awakening not of the crowd, but of the chosen. It will be a rallying cry to those who have felt out of place, out of season, out of options. Suddenly, the reason for their wilderness will make sense. The rejection, the closed doors, the loneliness, it was never abandonment, it was alignment. God hid them until now, like David in the field, like Joseph in the pit, like Esther in the palace, hidden until the hour of impact. And now the hiding is over, the remnant is being revealed. Do not expect the world to understand them. Do not expect the church to welcome them easily. They will disrupt what has been too comfortable. Their words will offend, their actions will confuse, but their fruit will testify. Signs will follow them. Miracles will break out where they tread. Revival will not be an event, it will be their lifestyle. They will walk into dead churches and see bones rattle. They will speak into nations and see atmospheres shift, for they carry the weight of his glory, not a replica, but the real. This calling will expose and separate the wheat from the tares, the imitators from the intercessors, the performers from the prophets, and many will be offended because the remnant will not bow to man-made systems. They will not play religious games. They will not serve the spirit of this age. They will be misunderstood, maligned, and misrepresented, but they will not be moved, for they are rooted in truth, grounded in presence, and marked by fire. They are those of whom the world is not worthy. This is a warning and an invitation. To those who feel the stirring, don't ignore it, don't silence it, don't wait for approval. The trumpet is sounding. Rise, fast, pray, consecrate, cleanse your hands, let go of distractions, break free from fear. You were not made to blend in, you were born to set things ablaze. The remnant is not coming, the remnant is here. And August 12, 2025 will be their official commissioning, a day when heaven marks them publicly for what they carried privately. And to the watchers, to those in high places, to those clinging to old power, do not underestimate them. They may not carry the names you know, but they carry the name above all names. They will not come with approval from seminaries or systems, but with authority from the throne. The systems of man will not be able to contain them. The platforms of entertainment will not be able to handle them. For they are not entertainers, they are intercessors, revivalists, reformers, and they will not stop until holiness returns to the house and truth returns to the streets. August 12 is not the end, it is the beginning of a remnant-led revolution, a holy uprising of those who carry heaven's heartbeat and hell's nightmare. They are coming not with noise, but with power. Not with performance, but with presence. Not with permission, but with fire. And when they rise, the world will never be the same again. The beginning of the end of delay. When the weight breaks on August 12, 2025, there comes a moment when delay no longer serves God's purpose. When what was held back by divine restraint is suddenly released by divine decree. August 12, 2025 will be that moment, the beginning of the end of delay. The dam will break, the gates will open, the heavens will move. For many, this date will be remembered not as the day something began, but as the day everything that was delayed started to rush forward. Prayers stored in heaven will pour like floodwaters. Prophecies that lingered for years will suddenly manifest. Doors that remained sealed will break open, not gently, but violently. The wait is over not for all, but for those who have endured, obeyed, remained, and refused to bow to discouragement. This is not just a personal fulfillment. This is prophetic relief. The delay was not a denial, it was alignment. God was not ignoring your cry. He was aligning your character. He was pruning your desires, purifying your motives, and preparing the battlefield. Some battles you were not yet ready to win. Some doors you were not yet mature enough to walk through. But on this day, heaven will declare it is time, and when God says time, no man, no devil, no system can stop what he has set in motion. The delay will end not because you begged hard enough, but because your season has arrived. On August 12, long-awaited turnarounds will begin. People who have felt forgotten will suddenly be remembered. Those who sowed in tears will begin to reap with shouts of joy. What was stagnant will start to flow. What was locked will be loosed. Healing long prayed for will break forth like the morning sun. Finances tied up in warfare will be released. Relationships torn apart by confusion and interference will be restored in supernatural ways. Ministries that sat in silence will receive a fresh wind. Visions on the shelf will start to stir. This is not hype, it is heaven's timing. Delay has a weight, and many have carried it for years, waiting while watching others advance, waiting while doors opened for less faithful hearts, waiting while promises felt like fading echoes. But on August 12, God will honor the faithful, those who stayed when others left, those who served when others quit, those who carried the vision when no one believed. This is their appointed hour. Divine acceleration will hit their lives like lightning. What should have taken 10 years will unfold in one. God is collapsing time, not just for restoration, but for recompense. This day will also mark the exposure of false delay. For some, what they called waiting on God was actually fear, procrastination, or disobedience. August 12 will shine a spotlight on excuses. The Lord will ask hard questions. Why are you still here? Why haven't you moved? Why are you delaying what I already declared? And for those who have hidden behind delay, this will be a call to act. No more waiting for perfect timing. No more waiting for confirmation when God has already spoken. This is the hour to obey immediately, radically, boldly. The spirit of delay is not just about time. It's a strategy of the enemy to wear out the saints. Delay breeds doubt, delay weakens faith, delay invites discouragement, but on this day, that spirit will be shattered over many lives. The oppression, the exhaustion, the fog it will lift, and those who are stuck will begin to move again. Not slowly, but with speed, for the Lord is restoring momentum. He's reigniting vision. He's refueling the fire that delay tried to smother. What was once a crawl will become a sprint. This will be a generational shift. Many promises were spoken over past generations' words that went unfulfilled because of fear, compromise, or missed moments. But August 12 marks the transfer. The unfulfilled promises of parents and grandparents are now falling into the hands of the remnant, those willing to run with what others dropped. Mantles that once lingered in limbo are descending. Gifts that were dormant are being activated. Inheritances locked behind generational delay are now being unlocked. This is not just fulfillment, it is redemption. The wasted years are being restored. Expect divine collisions, sudden meetings, unexpected favor, strategic introductions, unplanned encounters that were preordained by God. What looked like coincidence will be recognized as alignment. These will not be slow, moving connections, they will be destiny connections. People you meet on this day or in this season will be part of the next chapter. Some delays happened to protect you from premature relationships, but now the prepared hearts will find each other. Covenant connections will form fast, strong, and full of fire. This breaking of delay will also impact regions and nations. Cities that have resisted revival will feel a shift. Dormant movements will begin to stir, long prayed, for awakenings will show signs of life. Apostolic hubs will form in unlikely places. Prophetic wells will reopen where they had been stopped up. The delay in regional transformation is ending. The saints in those regions who cried out in secret will now see the beginnings of what they travailed for. There will be rumblings, shakings, stirrings, the sound of delay turning into destiny, but not all will celebrate. Some have grown comfortable in delay. They've built their lives around the wait, not realizing the wait was temporary. And when the Lord moves, they will hesitate, they will question the speed, they will resist the shift, but the cloud is moving, and those who stay behind will find themselves in dry places. This is the hour to move when He moves. The beginning of the end of delay is also the beginning of divine separation. Obedience will distinguish the faithful from the fearful. For those who have been faithful in the secret place, who kept praying when the heavens were silent, who kept sowing when the ground was hard, who kept believing when all evidence said, no, this is your moment. The wait has not been wasted. The delay has not been denial. God has been working beneath the surface. And now the first fruits are breaking through. Don't be surprised when it comes fast. Don't question the acceleration. Don't fear the blessing. Receive it, steward it, run with it. August 12, 2025 will be a spiritual timestamp. The day the tide turned, the day the clock started moving again, the day the heavens said now. And from this moment forward, nothing will be the same. Delay will lose its grip. What was bound will be released. What was stuck will flow. What was late will now arrive right on time. And when it does, you'll realize it wasn't just about the wait. It was about who you became while you waited. And now the wait is over.